Hey everyone, Groovy here, and great news! I got my mic fixed. And by that, I mean I bought a new one, I didn't fix it. Anyway, recently I've been playing a bunch of Skylanders, so I decided why don't I make a video about a Skylanders video? This video is by Cloudbreaker, and it's titled Skylanders That Don't Fit Their Element. I had a few problems with this video, but I just wanted to say, if I don't respond to anything in this video, I'll cut it. And that's either because I agree with it, or I just don't know how to respond to it. So let's just get into it.
Science only has one, and that's going to be Flashwing. Flashwing, I think, should get a pass because the element that I'm going to say for Flashwing is light. With all her light-themed attacks and the lack of any sort of rock or breaker, there might be a little bit, but it's not too much on Flashwing. There isn't really much stone or earth when it comes to Flashwing's design. It is mainly all crystals and light beams, which is why I really feel like she would be light. And if she wasn't light, it would be probably the coolest pick in light because of how unique Flashwing's design is. Of course, she will get a pass because light didn't exist, and so earth would be the next best option as she's composed of mainly gems, which of course come from the earth. But I think Flashwing would have worked quite a bit better in the light element.
With Flashwing, I don't inherently dislike his point to why she should be a light element over an earth element Skylander. But keep in mind about the idea of her attacks being light, so the element she should be light. Just keep that in mind for later.
There's also Blast Zone, who almost has the exact same issue of, yes, he definitely fits the fire theming, but he could also very much be tech. A lot of people think that he should have been tech because he is really a robot. Blast Zone is pretty much the Skylander that feels the most like a robot in the fire element. There really isn't any other fire Skylander that's basically just completely robotic. Like, this guy is not a living being. He is a robot that uses firepower pretty much.
Blast Zone's actually not a robot. He's instead a Furnace Knight, a specific species. It's not a robot.
And then I also want to say Roller Brawl. I don't really get why Roller Brawl is in the undead element other than the bone aspects of her design. Roller Brawl's design is filled with a bunch of bones, but other than that, are her attacks really that themed around undead?
Other than bones, what makes her undead? Really, man?
Definitely Crypt King. Crypt King is an interesting case of his design fits the undead element. His design is perfectly fine as an undead Skylander. Crypt King, of course, is a skeleton, which really, where else are you going to put that other than undead? My problem with this guy, and I really think it was mainly due to him, of course, coming out in Giants first as a Magic Skylander and then eventually getting scrapped. He was going to be the Magic Giant. I think remnants of that were really left in his moveset that sort of carried over to Trap Team. In Trap Team, Crypt King's moveset does not have any attack that feels like it was themed towards the undead element. He has a floating sword attack where his sword turns purple and it just sort of moves around on its own. If it wasn't called Ghost Sword, there wouldn't really be any undead theming at all to that. It's just a magical sword that floats around. And then, of course, he has his basic sword swings and he has bees that shoot out of him. What part of that is undead, I'm not really sure. Of course, his design is undead, so I'm mainly just going after him because of his moveset, but really, I just do not think this guy fits the undead theming for his moveset, which is just as important as this is the design, or if not more important for me.
Crypt King is a ghost possessing a suit of armor. That's like the most undead thing ever.
And then we look at Chomp Chest. He's literally just a chest. I don't know exactly why he's Earth. I mean, he sits on the floor, but you could say literally any Skylander stands on the ground. So that's just an invalid point if you ask me. I would say Chomp Chest should be maybe undead. I think that would make more sense. I mean, he spits out gold coins and stuff, so maybe even light or dark. Like, I just think Earth is kind of random for Chomp Chest.
Okay, I just gotta disagree with this. Chomp Chest is a treasure chest. Ever heard of buried treasure? Earth makes way more sense than any other element of the options he chose.
And then Golden Queen again, it is all the same reasons. She uses light in that one cutscene. She doesn't really have anything directly earth-based other than what she's built up of. And even gold, stuff reflects off of it, stuff shines at enemies, freezing enemies in gold. Like, it all just feels like there's so much light behind her design and her theming. I really think Golden Queen could have pulled off the light element a lot more than the earth element. And how much would have it made sense if Skylanders Trap Team's main villain was part of the two new elements? That just seems so cool. That would have been so awesome if from the beginning everyone thought she was earth element and then she was actually light element. I just think that would have been so sick as Trap Team did introduce those elements, but because they had to keep it a secret, the whole thing was kind of ruined. If they didn't keep it a secret, part of me thinks Golden Queen would have been part of the light element.
Keep in mind, his reason to why Golden Queen should be from the light element. Her attacks have to deal with light. It doesn't matter that she's made of gold, which is something from the earth, because she uses lights.
some of the villains again. Blastertron, I really just think he's a robot, so I thought he should have been tech from the start. Of course, you could say that he uses light beams and some sort of like light laser attacks, and yeah, that makes sense for the light element, but I also think there's a very strong case for Blastertron being in the tech element, as his whole premise is being a robot from the future, which is a super futuristic tech themed. I really feel like Blastertron should have been the tech element, but honestly, I don't mind too much as light fits him as well. He just seems like a very interesting light Skylander, being primarily pink and purple, so it's still kind of cool.
So because of what Blastertron is made of, he should be tech, even though he uses light attacks. But Golden Queen shouldn't be Earth, even though she's made of gold from the Earth, because she uses light attacks. These just contradict each other. You can't have one or the other. Anyway, that's all I say for now. Creeper out.
Socialism is when the government does stuff. And it's more socialism the more stuff it does. And if it does a real lot of stuff, it's communism.